So, welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and time for another Rambles of a Fool. So, where to start? So, 3 new premium tanks in Super Test right now, and we'll be taking a look at those, one of which is just testament to the fact Wargaming just seem to be a dysfunctional group of individuals who aren't talking to each other, and half of them only care about the money and nothing else. At least that's my feeling from it. And the other two, well, one's as ugly as sin and the other one's kind of interesting, looks very, very good indeed. So anyway, we'll talk about those. Also some sort of look into what's coming through the next part of the month, or through June should I say. It's 1st of June today, so what we're to expect for the rest of this month, and a couple of other bits and bobs. So anyway, let's hop on over, find out what World of Tanks has been screwing up this week. So, okay, intake of calming breath and air before we start. What the absolute fuck are you doing, Wargaming? Okay, got that out of the way. Now, I do not know what Wargaming's development team and balancing team are on at the moment. But this thing is the latest design to hit the Super Test server. This is the Object 726, a tier 10 Russian heavy tank. Like we don't need any more Russian tanks. Just might as well call it World of Russians. Anyway, this thing, I mean, Jesus H. Christ. This thing is, you'll notice its unique feature, apart from the fact it's got wings on the side, is it has no lower plate. It has 4 sets of tracks across the bottom here. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. So no lower plate to aim for when you're trying to take this thing out. What the absolute fuck? I mean, come on, boys. What are you thinking of? So yeah, this thing is apparently in Super Test right now. It is a, as I say, a tier 10 Russian heavy tank. I mean, no idea on the armor profiles, but just look at this. I mean, this looks to me like a V-shaped hull again. I mean, just like a wing there. So you got no lower plate, and the side armor's going to have a V-shape, so that, you know, the ability to shoot into it is drastically reduced. You know how hard it is to hit the 257 in the side because of that V-shaped hull. This thing looks like it's going to have the same, and you can't even hit the front. And look at the turret. It's as smooth as a baby's arsehole. Arse. Just unbelievable. Stats wise, 2,400 hit points. Hull armor is 200. Pretty well sloped as well. Look at that. 150 at the side with that V-shape. Good luck getting anything through that. Even the rear is 90. Even the rear armor is 90. Jesus. Turret 350 frontal. Look at the rounding on that thing. It's as smooth as you like. 150 on the side, 90 on the rear again. 850 horsepower engine that gives you 32 turret traverse speed. Hull of 30 degrees per second traverse speed. View range of 400. What happened to Russian tanks being blind, guys? Jesus H. Christ. 40 top speed, 13 in reverse. Power ratio of 14.2, so it's not exactly slow. And look at the gun. For God's sake, this gun. 258 standard pen. 340 with premium, 68 with HE. 440 average damage, 0.35 dispersion. Again, Russian guns were supposed to have high alpha and pretty poor aiming. These things have got brilliant, 0.35. 2 on the aim time. Jesus. I mean, the only thing that's Russian about this thing, apart from it's a Russian OP tank again, is -5 gun depression. That is about it. I mean, hell, even Wargaming's own development people, testing people, are saying this thing is too good. what the friggin' hell are what are the researchers and development team thinking about producing a tank like this? This is one of their community managers talking about this tank on the World of Tanks forum, and even they say, actually, the gun on this tank is so good we can't wait to nerf it. So the development team are producing a tank that even the testers and the community people think's OP before even, you know, so what the absolute fuck are they doing? DPM of 2,750 without any equipment or crew bonuses or anything else. So it's a hyper efficient gun on a tank that virtually looks unpennable. They're saying the one amongst its vehicle's drawbacks is limited mobility. Really? I bet they give it supreme ground resistances, given the fact that it's got those 4 sets of tracks and gun depression of -5. That's it. Everything else is fantastic. Now, yeah, as they say, this is the first stage of testing, so it may well change. It bloody well needs to be. I mean, just imagine trolling out in your tier 8 medium tank and coming up against one of these things. Imagine being in your, you know, your Panther 2 or your Tiger 2 and coming up against one of these things. Which you will, of course, because tier 8s only ever fight tier 10s at the moment. That's pretty much the way it works. So, yeah, good luck with that, boys. Good luck with that. I'm going down to tier 6. I'm going to avoid all these Monday. Then tier 6, you vote all the OP tier 8s. You can't win. Tier 7, maybe. I don't know. I mean, just what the absolute fuckers, what are they doing over there? Now, I did see, I think it was, who was it? D's Games, who was doing a video about this the other day, and he was suggesting that maybe they might track more frequently, you know, and you could potentially have a situation where you shoot out one set of tracks, but what happens, you know, because you still got 3 others, so if you lose the middle one, doesn't mean the outer one still works, but you lose speed, a bit like losing an engine. They said on this forum itself, the tracks are below the hull, so they offer no spaced armor protection to the side. Not that that matters, because you got the V-shaped hull, so it doesn't really make a damn. But, you know, just what the absolute fuck are Wargaming up to at the moment. They seem to be completely disjointed. They are a completely dysfunctional group of individuals from what I can see. You've got development teams who just don't seem to know what they're doing. You've got marketing team who they're living on another planet trying to milk and milk and milk. I mean, you know, it's kind of their job. And you got testers who test tanks like the Object 268 version 4 and go, oh yeah, this is absolutely fine, and then have to nerf it like crazy because it actually wasn't. I mean, you know, and this is a game we spend a lot of money on. Who's the sucker, huh? Yep, us. So if there are any people with a sensitive disposition or young children watching, I would suggest you look away now, because we're going to be looking at probably one of the ugliest tanks you will ever see in World of Tanks. This is the Excalibur. Yeah, that picture looks pretty good. Look at that, looks quite nice there. Then you see the arse on it. I mean, you know, it's like going into a nightclub and seeing some beautiful woman across the room, and you wander over and then you realise that she's got baggage for well, no, I'm not going to look at that, sorry. Look at it. I mean, it's a caravanette, isn't it? It's a caravan with a gun on the front. What the what the hell is this thing all about? I mean, look at it. It's an armoured troop carrier with a frigging turret built on the front. I mean, you know, come on. Oh, gee. So yeah, this is a new tier 6 British tank destroyer. Now the speculation is that this tank, the Excalibur, possibly the last one we just looked at, the Object, and another one which we'll talk about in a minute, are all part of a new set of upcoming personal mission. That's the speculation. We don't know for sure, But I saw Quickie Babe had done a video about these things, and actually had talked about the fact that on the in the test server it does say something about for missions or for a reward tank. So highly likely that these things are coming up for some kind of set of missions through the year. Now, interesting, they're still testing this thing. You know, as with all super test vehicles, the object included, they're subject to change because that's the point of the testing. Although, you know, again, my plea to Wargaming is let us play them on the test server. That's the best way you get to try them out, because you get real players playing them. So there's two versions of this Excalibur out there. They're both as ugly as each other, but the standard version, well, no, there's, okay, but let's look at the two versions. So first of all, there is one with a 120mm derp cannon on it. They both have 650 hit points. Hull armor is 50, 25 and 15. And turret armor of 50, 30, 10. So that's identical on both sides. Let's have a look. Actually, let's go to the maneuverability first. There we go, mobility, that's the one I want. Mobility, is that identical? Yeah, it looks like it is. So 27-ton vehicle, 500 horsepower engine, power ratio of 18.26, so reasonably nimble. Nice top speed of 50, very good. Ground resistance is 0.8, 1.0 and 1.7, so okay as well. Concealment values, it's a big bus, I mean, but even so, actually concealment's not bad. 31, that's very good indeed. That's very good. I'm surprised given the size of it, or appears to be the size of it. Obviously got nothing to combine that one, nothing to measure it against. 350 view range is okay. It's a tier 6 after all. But let's look at the guns, because there are two options being tested. As I say, there is a 120mm derp cannon which fires a 450 hit point shell, which with penetration of 70. Okay, that's all right. Which is a Hesh shell. Okay, rate of fire 4.17, DPM of 1800, accuracy of 0.46 is horrible, aim time of 3.36. But it's a derp gun, so you'd expect that, right? Gun elevation is and depression is very good on this thing, -10 and +20, very nice indeed. So that's quite a good gun. The other option they're looking at is well, they're calling it 76 here. I think it's a 17-pounder, which is a fairly standard British gun, of course. Very good penetration, 165, 192 and 70 with HE, 150 average damage, and has very high rate of fire, so 13.9 rounds per minute, 2000 DPM, and its accuracy is pretty damn good, 0.31, aim time of 1.53, so kind of like Firefly in terms of its mobility, its accuracy of gun. But you've got that -10 gun depression, so that's kind of makes up for the fact it looks ugly as sin. So anyway, all stats likely to change because of super testing. Well, we hope so in some cases, but this thing is in super test ugly. So next up, another premium tank. This time it is a British tier 8 medium tank. Again, speculation that this thing could also be part of some set of new rewards. We shall see. And this thing looks very, very interesting indeed. It's called the Chimera. Here we go. Let's have a quick look at what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's sort of Matilda-y hull, is that? Sort of with a bigger gun on the top. Looks a bit like it. Not a bad looking tank, to be absolutely honest. So as I say, tier 8 medium tank. Obviously all the stats subject to change, but at the moment 14 hit points, hull armor of 114, 76 and 50. Not particularly angled there, so again, like most British medium tanks and heavy tanks for that matter, the hull's pretty weak, but the turret's not too bad. Nothing special. They're only 203, 76, 76. We'll have to see what the armor profile will look like when we can see it. Features a pretty good gun, actually. Don't know what caliber gun this is. No, it doesn't say. But its signature on this thing is a 490. Yep, 490 alpha gun. So it's kind of like, I guess, a Conway or a Charioteer, but on a medium tank. Penetration 202 is very nice. 252 with its premium rounds, and 490 average damage. And the load time's not too bad. 13-second reload of 4.47 rate of fire, giving it a DPM without any rammers or anything of 2,190. That's not bad at all. That could be very meaty, very meaty. And accuracy is very good, 0.336, aim time of 2.4. So you'd expect a high alpha gun like that to have slightly worse accuracy and aim time than that. So that's pretty damn good. Gun depression -10 as well. Wow, this could be a beast. Mobility wise, just over 1,000 horsepower engine with an 18.43 power ratio is very nice, and top speed of 50 and 20 in reverse. Where's the catch? This thing looks awesome. Concealment values, well, nothing special, but still not awful. It's a medium, remember. 23.5 base stationary range, concealment rate, and spotting of 380. So this thing kind of looks good. Big alpha gun on a fairly mobile tank with a very good gun depression and reasonable turret armor. What's not to like? So this thing, again, super testing at the moment, and as I say, speculation that this could be part of another set of rewards, because they have said in Q&As I featured here on the channel that they will be doing a new set of personal missions that's due around October time. So if they're super testing tanks now, it wouldn't make sense that they're super testing them for the upcoming missions. Now, never fear, you don't, from what they've said anyway, you will still be able to carry on doing your old set of missions if you haven't finished them, but this new set will come along for those of us who are a bit stuck on the old set, or have completed them, of course, to give us a new challenge in the day, which is kind of cool. So there you go, 3 new premium tanks in super test. Varying degrees of OP-ness and availability and worthwhileness, but the Chimera looks like a pretty damn good tank, a very strong medium tank on the British tech tree. So almost 2 weeks has gone by since Wargaming opened this can of worms with this absolutely ludicrous article about perfecting preferential and premiums. Now, I'm not going to go back all over it again, because I've had enough of a rant and my blood pressure needs to calm down. But what I thought was absolutely interesting, so this article went up on the 21st of May. We're now, what, 1st of June, and there has been absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, from Wargaming about this. The one thing we saw was some comment by community manager saying, something about our intentions were genuine, and we're going back to discuss it again. That's been it. And somebody told me that on the Russian forum, they're now up to 90+ pages of abuse and anger at this story. On the EU server, it's 30-40 pages long. North American server, it's countless pages too. I haven't seen anybody with anything positive to say about this change, and two sides to the change. One is that's pissing people off. One is the fact that the suggestion is that if you don't like what they're proposing to do, the only way you can get out of it is that you can swap your KV5 in this case for another premium tank and pay extra for it, rather than getting a full refund on what you paid for. And other people object and say, look, no, we bought a preferential matchmaking tank. That's what we want. We want to be able to play it. It's not what we bought. And it is a complete legal minefield for Wargaming, but they're not helping themselves by coming out with utter bullshit like this article here. And it's interesting that we've had absolutely no response at all, apart from that one community manager who made some reference to it and said they were going to review it again. But it's 21st of May, it's now the 1st of June, and no response at all. But in the clear evidence that World of Tanks marketing team and development team do not know what they are doing and are not talking to each other. Because if you go into the premium shop now, this is the EU premium shop. Here we have the i6, the 112, Jag Panther 88. What else have we got here? No, CDC doesn't. Super Pershing. 15A. That's all tier 10, tier 8s, all of which have preferential matchmaking now and are still available in the shop. What the absolute fuck are you doing, Wargaming? You know, if you're looking to change these tanks in some way, you should not be selling them still. I don't care whether you're money grabbing bastards, but just sheer logic. Why are you selling something that you're quite open about the fact you want to get rid of and change? These things are being sold as preferential matchmaking tanks. I mean, just what the hell? What the absolute hell? You know, just I don't get it at all. Although interesting, they've removed reference to preferential matchmaking in here, but it still is still a preferential matchmaking tank. Wargaming, sort yourselves out. I mean, you know, somebody really needs to grab all the different teams together and smack their heads together until you get a little bit of common sense, and then get them to start talking to each other. It's one of the things you see. I've worked for many businesses that are expanding very, very rapidly, or are much bigger than their internal processes actually allow for. And this sort of thing happens regularly in those kind of businesses until somebody gets them all together and just basically cracks heads and gets them to sort their shit out. Because, you know, they're all running around 1,000 miles an hour trying to do what they're trying to do. They're trying to the marketing team are trying to maximize their value. The R&D team are trying to research and find new tanks they can shove out there. But nobody's actually taking a firm grip on the strategy and the objectives they're trying to achieve. They're just letting it meander around, and groups are falling over themselves. Different regions are fighting over each other. It is a complete clusterfuck, and they need to get to grips with it. There is absolutely no sense in them why they should be still selling preferential matchmaking tanks for £36 in the shop today, when they've already said they're going to be getting rid of preferential matchmaking tanks. Now, what the hell are they even playing at? And that's without even looking at the ones at the lower tiers, because there's still more down there. There's still more preferentials down there. You know, just what the absolute fuck are you doing, Wargaming? That should be the name of every video at the moment. What the absolute fuck are you doing? Because you just don't seem to know what you're doing. Black Prince, that gets preferential, doesn't it? I think Matilda, the Churchill and the Matilda, I think, gets preferential. Valentine certainly gets preferential. So there's all these bloody tanks, all currently for sale now, right now. You can rush into the shop and buy them. What's that? Almost a quarter of those tanks, I would say, up for sale at the moment are preferentials, and yet they're getting rid of them. Come on, Wargaming. You're a business now. You're not just a group of little spotty urban kids just mucking around. You're a business. Act like it, for fuck's sake. So a quick addendum, I guess, to my video on the Object 277 new upcoming tier 10 Russian heavy tank that's in super test at the moment and is coming out to be the tier 10 to the T10, if you see what I mean. So the T10 was moved onto its own little stubby line on the tech tree, and we were waiting for a tier 10 heavy tank to come in after it. So that's the Object 277. And also on the medium line, the Object 430 version 2 was waiting for a tier 10 medium Russian tank to come in, and that is the K91. Now, I haven't played the K91. I've seen it being played quite a bit on the test server, and it doesn't seem to be particularly great, and the feedback I've seen is pretty underwhelming, shall we say, in terms of it is as a vehicle. Whereas the heavy tank, the Object 277, from personal experience, I'd say it's an outstanding tank. I mean, people have questioned whether it's OP or not, but there's this fixation for, is it OP? Is it, you know? I mean, to me, it's not. It's a very strong heavy tank, but it won't suit everybody. It's a very mobile heavy tank, which I personally love. Has very good gun handling for a Russian tank, extremely good gun handling, which I also like. But it's got no hull armor, and so that's a balancing act. You get penned by everything through the hull armor. Turret armor, however, it's extremely good, so you bounce a lot of shells if you can get into a situation where you can use it. So I think that's a balancing factor, which I think is why I wouldn't describe it as OP. I would say it's a very strong tank, and for those that particularly like mobile heavy tanks, they'll love it, I'm sure. Anyway, that wasn't what I was going to be talking about here. So that you can see from this picture, and also if you go on the test server, that the amount of XP you're going to need to unlock these tanks. So if you're desperate to get your hands on the Object 277, you should be playing your T10 with the accelerated crew training button turned off, so all the credits are accumulated on your T10, and you will need 220,800 XP to unlock the object. To get the K91 you'll need 2,500 no 252,700 XP. Did I say that wrong with the object? 220,800. So there you go, that's your amounts you're going to need. I wonder why it's so much more with a medium tank. It's another 30,000 credits to 32,000 credits to unlock the not credits, 32,000 XP to unlock the K91. Anyway, I don't know, but yeah, so if you are looking to get these two new tier 10s, as I say, you need to be playing your Object 430 version 2 and your T10s, making sure that you've got the accelerated crew training button turned off on them, so that all the credits, all the XP is accumulated on those vehicles, and you don't when you're converting it, if you're converting it for free XP, you make sure you don't make the mistake of converting that stuff as well. But you leave it on the tanks until these new tanks come in, presumably with the next patch, and then you can unlock those new tier 10. So let's take a look at what to expect through June, at least on the EU server anyhow. So top of the tree this month is actually the Super Pershing. Sorry, Super Conqueror. Super Pershing, that would be funny. The Super Conqueror, the new-ish British tier 10 heavy tank. So if you want to work your way down that line, this is a good time to do it, because you get 30 to 50% discount on every tank along that time when you're buying it, along that line when you're buying from the test tree. You get obviously also special missions if you are rolling out in your Super Conqueror, so those people playing tier 10s expect to see a lot more Super Conquerors out there, because there will be special missions for the Super Conqueror, and also every tank along that tech tree, so the Carnarvon, the I forget all the other versions along that line, but they'll all get 1.5 crew experience as well to help the fight. So all very good if you're looking to grind that line. Also through the rest of this month, first weekend, so from tomorrow onwards, is heavy tank weekend, so there'll be a number of missions based around heavy tanks. Then next weekend, 9th to the 11th of June, is medium tanks, tank destroyers on the 16th to the 18th, and finally light tanks on the last weekend, 23rd to the 25th of June. Not exactly sure what they'll be, but looks like ×3 victory for the first victory of the day, so yeah, nothing special. This weekend, Operation Overlord. Actually no, this is the 4th to the 8th, so a mission that enables you to win various food consumables, so that's nice. Weekly missions are continuing with the opportunity to win, looks like that's a gun lane drive, or is that a vertical stabilizer? I don't know, whatever it is. Through the 9th to the 16th of July, various daily missions allowing you to earn those. And I like the daily missions. It makes me log in, frankly, when I'm really cheesed off and just waiting for the front lines to open. I'll hit it and play my missions and get them done, and then I feel that at least I've completed something that day on the World of Tanks. And Tank Fest special, don't forget Tank Fest is coming up 30th of June to the 2nd of July, and to celebrate that it's ×3 crew experience for every single battle, so plenty of window lickers and tyre kickers out that weekend for damn sure. Lots of other goodies, so you can guarantee, I would imagine, the Tiger 131 will be sold at that time, because they're pretty predictable, shall we say, in terms of World of Tanks marketing team. So anyway, that's June's EU specials coming up. Nothing particularly exciting, but hey, it is what it is, and there's some daily missions, which is always exciting for me, at least. So thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting and useful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, as ever, please, any comments, any thoughts, any feedback, just put them down in the comments section down below. I always love the fact we have a fairly full and frank conversation going on after each of these videos, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I do them still, is that it's just nice to have that interaction with you guys. So please do continue to make your comments. Let me know what you think about what World of Tanks are doing or not doing, and what your feeling is about some of the things I've been raising. So always great to hear your opinion. In the meantime, have fun, enjoy your games, try not to take it too seriously, and we'll see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom signing out.